Just in time for Donald Trump to become president, we got a new caravan of at least 1,500 migrants rushing to the southern border to try and get in here before Donald Trump can take office. I say anyone, as of right now, here's my pitch to the Trump administration. Any individual who comes to the United States right now that is found to not be seeking legitimate asylum is the first to be deported. We'll prioritize that. I am shocked. I am offended by these actions. Now, look, I can respect and understand that there's a lot of people who want to live in this country. I know why they want to live in this country, but we cannot overwhelm this country. Of course, the liberal response is they're good. Migrants are good for the economy. They make demands, right? So they come here and they say, I need bread, milk, eggs, and we sell more, we make more, all of those things, and that they contribute. They also displace low-skilled workers in the United States. So I am 100% pro-immigration legally. They got to come legally. That way we can properly track this and make sure that we're maximizing the economic benefits that we do need from individuals where we need them. Instead, what we're getting is mass illegal immigration where they're just being strewn about in random places and they're not given residency or citizenship. They're given these asylum adjudication court hearings. And then the Biden administration dumps all of these cases. So now they're just stateless people roaming about, I guess. Or I don't know what you call it, but they're not here legally and they're not facing deportation. So they're classless. I don't know. So I say right now, I get why people want to come here, but this offends me. We just had an election where the Rio Grande Valley shifted massively to the red. These are the border states and border counties because they're saying we don't want this. So these people know that we said enough and they're trying to break in anyway. Shockingly offensive. At least when there was some debate and Biden was saying things like, come on in. Some of these people might have been like, well, we can, at least we can try and get in with half these Democrats. Now it's clear. It's clear cut. I mean, it was always bad. Don't get me wrong. But this is spitting in our faces twice. So I say deport them. Now, of course, the Democrats are claiming that Donald Trump is Hitler and that Republicans are going to round up all these people and put them in camps. Oh, yeah. Camps, huh? You mean like detention facilities that Obama had? I lived in the Redlands in Florida, just north of Homestead. So we knew about these camps under Barack Obama. I lived there during Obama's term. Nobody cared. Trump gets in, and then all of a sudden he's got kids in cages. Spare me your lies and manipulations. But of course now you've got the Democrats claiming that they're going to round them all up in camps. And there is a narrative coming out that actually is fairly brutal. And some conservatives are just outright saying it. Officials saying, you know what? You will be detained. You will be sent to a holding facility for several weeks where we process your claims and then deported. So do not come. And therein lies the challenge. There has to be deterrent. Of course, we would say we don't want inhumane conditions. We don't want people to suffer, nothing like that. But if you tell these people, come in here, and your worst case scenario is you're going to be comfortably accommodated with hotel rooms, and they're going to be like, what's the risk? I get a hotel room, I get video games, I get Buffalo Wild Wings. Worst case scenario is they fly me home, I guess. Well, Trump's saying, no, we're not doing that anymore, okay? You come here illegally, you're going to a detention facility, okay? And you're not going to be with your kids, your families, and it's going to be several weeks, and if it's not legit, we send you back. Now, of course, there's that viral video with AOC and Homan, who is now going to be the border czar. It's not a real position, but it's a consulting position. And she says it's designed to be brutal and you separate children from their families. And Tom Homan goes, if I get drunk and drive my car and get arrested, I don't get to bring my kid to jail with me. And it's like, yeah, he's right. You come here and commit a crime. The Democrats are trying to decriminalize border crossings, okay? But it is currently a violation of U.S. law, as Tom Homan lays out in that video. If you break the law, we don't put your kids in jail with you. Not only that, but we have evidence now. I think I actually have the video pulled up right here. HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra cannot answer why he placed unaccompanied children with sponsors whose address was a strip club. Because they are trafficking kids and we know it. Okay, so I want to stop the trafficking. And that means you come here with kids. We're not going to let you traffic those kids. And we're not going to just assume you're the parent without proof, because it is better. It is better that a child is separated from their parent for a few weeks. They broke the law. They go to jail. It's better that happens than that kid gets sent into to be trafficked. Yeah? Right. So let's read this story and talk about where we're currently at with Donald Trump's camps. Rolling Stone says Trump allies were told to stop saying we'll put migrants in camps. Are we the baddies, it says? No, Democrats are. But we'll break that all down. Before we do, head over to castbrew.com. Why? Well, the Cast Brew Coffee Club, man. You get 3 bags. I think it's 3, right? Cast Brew Coffee Club whole bean mix. You join that coffee club, you'll get 3 bags per month, so you'll save money. And you can get, we actually have Mr. Boca's Pumpkin Spice Experience is only in rotation now. So we retired that one because Mr. Boca's passed. But of course, we still had several leftovers for the subscriptions. So those are slowly being given out. Actually, I don't know if you sign up now, you'll actually get that. The people who are already members do. In the event there is a blend that gets retired, you may still get it. But of course, stand your grounds. Look at that. It's rising to the top. These featured products, these are the ones that are doing the best. Everyone loves stand your grounds. Also become a member at timcast.com. Last night, Milo Yiannopoulos, uncensored. Ha! Let me just say, he's a funny guy. We had a lot of fun. He's very funny. He's very, what's the right way to describe it? Catty humor. And we had a good time. But let's, timcast.com, join us to watch that uncensored content if you want more videos. Here's a story from the New York Post. A new caravan of at least 1,500 migrants formed in southern Mexico on Wednesday, with some openly admitting they were desperate to cross into the U.S. before Donald Trump takes office. The migrants, mainly from Central and South America, are including large numbers of young children, and they began marching from the city of Tapachula near the Guatemalan border, where thousands of migrants have been stranded after being stopped by Mexican authorities from going further. Many say they felt the clock ticking ahead of Trump's inauguration in January, after which he promises to close the border and launch the largest deportation operation in the history of the U.S. It is going to be more difficult. That's why we are going in hopes of getting an appointment quicker, so we are able to cross before he takes office, said Yotzeli Peña, 23, one of many migrants from Venezuela in the caravan. That would be easier. Okay. Yotzeli Peña. I say this person get an aggravated charge to some degree. Now, look, I don't want the U.S. taxpayer to be funding lengthy prison sentences for any of these people. But how evil, how just despicably evil, these evil people. We better get in before Trump gets in. They don't care about us. They don't care about you. They don't care about what we've built together. They don't care about what we've inherited. They just care to steal it. And all the Democrats can cry and whinge all they want. Okay? The people of this country have spoken. The popular mandate, the popular vote is stop letting these people just steal from us. And the Democrats go ahead and cry. You're in the minority. So I pray, I cry, and I beg, and I pray that Democrats come out and defend this. Defend it. And that's why the Republicans are sweeping elections. Because you defend these people who are outright stating, we know the American people don't want us to come in. We know it's illegal, and we're going to do it anyway. It's evil. Pure evil. The idea of going to your friend's house who says, get in my house, you kick his door in, or your neighbor's house, start taking their stuff and say, we better get in before they get home. Imagine this. Your neighbors put up signs saying, keep out, no trespassing. So you go over there, kick the door in, start stealing their stuff and be like, we better get into the house and take his stuff before he gets back. Yeah, called illegal. It's a crime. And guess what? If you bring your kids, we separate your kids. You go to jail, kid gets taken from you. These people have no regard for any of the work that we do. They just don't care. They care only to steal from the American people. And that's it. And I'll say it again. To come in, displacing our labor force, and it's that's not even the least of it. They come in knowing the American people have said, please no more. This is criminal action. So when these snooty people come out and say undocumented immigrants actually commit crime at a lower rate, I'll say 100% of undocumented immigrants, as you call them, have broken the law. Because it is illegal to cross this border in such a way. 100%. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Sanctuary cities plan to resist Trump's mass deportation plans, from News Nation. They say ahead of Donald Trump presidency, leaders in sanctuary cities insist they will not aid any mass deportation plans after Inauguration Day. All right, well, then Trump's going to have to invoke the Insurrection Act. He's going to have to call in the National Guard because the National Guard can be nationalized in the event that the law is not being enforced. The federal government can nationalize the National Guard to enforce the law, and this is the law. Now, by all means, you want to change the law? I'm not arguing for anything else. I'm not arguing that anyone breaks the law or acts extrajudicially. I'm saying that these people have broken the law. They have spit in our faces and disrespected us, knowing full well we voted to say no more. They want to come anyway. I say you arrest them. Cry about it. When people break the law, they get held to account. That's all I'm saying. You want to change the law? Change the law. You never did. And now there's a mandate saying, the people of this country want more border security. Now take a look at this. Colorado, Illinois, New York. They say where hundreds of thousands of migrants have been bussed from the southern border by GOP Governor Abbott, officials have doubled down on their promise to protect newcomers. News Nation, are you kidding me? Newcomers? You are evil. These people are evil. The ordinance prohibits the use of city resources for federal immigration enforcement. It could also mean potential legal battles as the Trump administration prepares to use ICE and the military to carry out the campaign promise of mass deportations. I say, you're evil. These are not newcomers. These are people who have broken the law. They've spat in the faces of legal immigrants, and they spit in the faces of the American voter, the majority voters who said enough to this. And this is where we currently are. I want you to listen to this segment.
Are you familiar that in that report, it revealed that children were pimped out by their aunt, which it turns out the aunt wasn't even related to the child, the so-called aunt. Are you familiar with that story that was in there?
There are a number of incidents that are reported in that Florida report. Some of them I can probably recall better than others. Some of them I would challenge and dispute. But that one I don't remember.
And do you remember the teenage girl that was in a house with unknown men with no private bedroom for her? Are you familiar with the sponsors that utilize a strip club in Jacksonville as an address for where a child should be settled?
Congressman, as I said, I don't have the information on that Florida grand jury report in front of me. I certainly can go back and take a look at it and try to get back to you.
He doesn't know. That's Congressman Tom Tiffany. He is the 7th district in Wisconsin, so good job. Yeah, Dr. Phil pointed it out. Dr. Phil said that he spoke with CBP, and they know they are trafficking children. Sex trafficking, labor trafficking. We can't tolerate this anymore. So these people are trying to come up here. No more. I'm just particularly perturbed by the popular mandate that the people have spoken. And these people have been like, quick, better run in as they're closing the door. They told us to get out. We're going to storm the gates. That's evil. That is evil. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a tinge of evil for many of these people even before the popular mandate. I'm just saying right now, as they're running in while we're trying to protect this country, is evil. Reckless disdain. Texas official offers 1,400-acre ranch to Trump to build his deportation camps. Trump relied heavily on immigration detention centers while carrying out his anti-immigration policies during his first term. Now, I say this again. I say it again. I will not tolerate a Trump administration that's rounding up people into trucks and buses by militaries armed with rifles. And that's what it sounded like where we're going. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This has to be done in a decentralized manner with local law enforcement, federal law enforcement. We don't want the military. Trump can say that, but we don't want it. It's not. It's gonna create instability. So if what we want to make sure of, we put a stop. First, we've got to stop the illegal immigration. We've got to secure our southern border. That the military can do. Then we want federal law enforcement. Either we rapidly hire, and it'll be expensive, and so be it. And then we deport the most violent criminals first. Then we work towards lesser criminals. If we have Donald Trump invoking the National Guard and then doing these military vehicles and rounding up people and putting on these camps, it is going to be destabilizing. It's going to create chaos. It's going to create political turmoil. Republicans would likely lose the midterms over it. It has to be orderly and peaceful. And you say to me, but Tim, why should we extend that gratitude, blah, blah, blah? It is but for two simple reasons. The first, of course, and not the most important, is that it's just bad optics for politics. It's not something you want to do because the images will be shocking to the average American person. Don't do it. But the most important reason is being the good guy means it's going to be hard. Evil is easy. That's the point. Being good and being righteous is difficult. And that means if we are going to do this the right way and we are going to mass deport these criminals, it must be through the proper court system. It must be in a calm, reasonable manner. No violence. We don't need armed groups going around doing anything like that. If there is a violent gang member, that's different. But if we're talking about these people who have entered illegally, broke our laws, then they can be peacefully arrested, due process, and then deported. And it's going to be hard. It is, but I accept it. I accept it 100% because being good has always been hard. That's why our side isn't the one making up fake news every day. Wouldn't it be easier just to lie to everybody to get what you want? That's what the Democrats do. They make up stories and they live in a fictional, delusional reality. Hence, they all fled Twitter, X, to go to Blue Sky so they can isolate themselves and live trapped in their bubbles. Meanwhile, people on the right are going to Blue Sky to keep tweeting or posting or whatever. The right seeks out the information sphere. The left hides from it. It will always be more difficult for us, but those are the terms. Now, I love this. Trump allies were told to stop saying they'll put migrants in camps. Apparently, some people think it makes us look like Nazis as a close Trump ally. Are we the baddies? Rolling Stone, you are. Because I had to tell you, but the American people voted for Donald Trump. So if you would like to imply that this country is majority Nazi, which you probably would, by all means, go ahead and do so. But what we're looking at now is a reality. NPR says Trump is promising deportations under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. What is it? It's from October. Trump, quote, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil, he said at a rally. Trump is promising that if reelected, he will use the act to initiate a federal effort called Operation Aurora, named after the Colorado town that he claims has been taken over by Venezuelan gangs, which residents and local officials dispute. Not anymore, they don't. That was fake news. Remember that? Here's the best part, and I'll give a shout out to Anna Kasparian because she pointed this out. She was like, people on the right are talking about how Trende Aragua has taken over these apartment complexes. Now, the media is saying it's not happening. It's a lie. But if you Google the story only from the year before, you can see the stories existed for a long time. That's right, my friends. News reported that Trende Aragua took over buildings. About a year later, the right went, hey, look at this. This is a terrible thing. The corporate press then immediately came out and said, it's not happening. It's not true. Despite the fact that numerous local outlets had already reported it a year ago. They lie. They go on to say, he has also suggested that the act could be used to end sanctuary cities, which limit cooperation. Now, I do think we are facing it's a rock and a hard place. Like I mentioned about doing this the right way, there is the reality of these sanctuary cities and states, which may engage in active resistance. I'm not saying conflict, but resistance of some sort. So they're not going to provide any cooperation. Of course, we knew that. And they may actually attempt to obstruct. So what do? That's a difficult thing. Everything must be done calmly and humanely, and it will be difficult and expensive. You will hear me if we start seeing any stories about injury and harsh conditions. I'll be the first to criticize it. But I also want to stress this. Right now, the warning has been sent to all of the illegal immigrants who come to this country and break our laws. This is the plan. There will be detention centers. This is your choice. You can stay, be arrested, and placed in a holding facility with bad conditions, or you can leave now of your own volition and live your lives in your own countries. You can apply to stay legally, and there are programs, and I'm sure the Trump administration will have some. But to all the migrants who come to the United States and they apply to stay here legally, you have my complete respect. I feel humbled, in fact, that so many people want to live in this great nation. And I am grateful that they do so by our laws for which we have agreed upon. That's respect. There was a guy who ran for Senate in Virginia. It's a shame he lost, Hung Cao. He said that his family fled Vietnam as a kid. He was granted, I think they were granted asylum in the United States where he got to live and grow up. He paid this country back by serving in the Navy for 25 years. Talk about the epitome of respect for this nation. And that guy deserved to be in the Senate. So shout out to him. Here's one of the best videos. But that's what I'm talking about. We love immigrants. Look at this guy. He says, I was a kid. The Americans saved my family's lives. And I came here. So what did he do? Grateful to what he was given, he joined the Navy. 25 years. Wow. A lifetime of service. And then he tried to serve again in the Senate. He should have won. I can't believe Tim Kaine won. But that is what immigration is supposed to be. Honor, integrity, and respect. And I have tremendous respect for him as someone who has served. I have not. And he came here of our good graces to save people because we are a generous nation. The American people are the least racist and the most generous. And look what we offer up. These people who are coming now, they are seeking to violate our laws and spit in our faces. And I reject that 100%. Now, I love this. They're claiming that Trump is a Nazi and all that stuff, right? Here's the claim. Ron DeSantis falsely said migrants deported from Martha's Vineyard within 24 hours. Well, here's the story. They summoned the National Guard to round up these migrants and send them to holding facilities. That's right. They said 50 migrants, they were brought to a military base with dorm housing. What do they call it? Dorm housing? And DeSantis also said Democrats and legacy. He said they were deported. They said false. It was just a relocation program. Okay, well, they're technically correct. Ron was speaking colloquially when he said they were deported from Martha's Vineyard. They're saying, but deportation means out of the country. They were only relocated off Martha's Vineyard. I get what Ron DeSantis was saying, dude. And more importantly, it was carried out by federal immigration agents. It says deportations generally are carried out by federal immigration agencies, not the National Guard. But the National Guard was summoned to come and load these people onto buses and bring them to holding facilities on a military base. Uh-huh. And now they're claiming it's camps and Trump is evil. Oh, you know what, man? They're liars. I've made my point, okay? These people should get additional charges because they know right now. But hey, we'll see. I'm going to wrap it up there. We got more segments coming up. Next one will be in about an hour. Thank you so much for hanging out. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Become a member at timcast.com to support our work, and we'll see you all soon.